Welcome all to the weekly outlook. Boone here from EWPRO. Starting with the DXY on the daily, like I've been mentioning for a long time, there's a couple of different scenarios on the DXY on the daily time frame. We've got this A. I'm looking at this A, this B, and a C down in here. Because I was looking at this A, B, C here, but this is looking very corrective in here now. So I've been looking at this for a while, an A, B, C. The H4 is where we're getting the direction. We did have the time factor here. We got that WXY up here. I was looking for that X2. We got a Z up. It didn't quite go and break that top. Now we've got a nice impulse down. So it's more bearish. If you get a bearish setup here on the lower time frames next week, you could look to sell this to go and break the low for that daily time frame. Like I showed, I'd be looking for an A, B, C. So I'd be looking to go and break that low. At this stage on the H4, we only have an impulse down. You really need to go down to the lower time frames this week or next week and wait for a correction in here, and then look for a sell. If this looks corrective next week, then you could look for a sell if you get a sell set up. And pretty much all the majors are very similar to this. AU on the daily, nothing's changed. I was looking for this A, B, C in here. We got that 3 down in here, and I was looking for that C up. This C up never went. So ever since that never went, we got this A. I'm looking at a B in here, and a C down. On the H4, we're looking for the structure. And if you've been following me for a while, as soon as we got this 3 down in here, I put these arrows on. So I was looking for one up here, one down here, one up here. No, I'm looking at a complex correction here for another one down. Looking for 3 up in here. We already have the 3 up, but it's still very much motive. There was a buy set up on a lot of these pairs on the M15. The H1, we got an impulse here, a sharp move down, and we got more upside. There was a little flat in here that a lot of people in my group, I showed this to a lot of people in my group, virtually on just about every pair. But I'm looking at this as a flat, an expanding flat. So we get a WXY. We're in that wave Y, wait for the X2 and then Z up. Or you can look at the M15 and wait for a bear hidden. This is that correction here I was talking about on the M15. So we got a WXY, getting a correction now. Wait for the correction and you can look for that wave Z up. And again, like I've said, this is pretty much on all the majors. They're very similar. Most of them have that flat and everything. GY is very, it's quite difficult. I'm sort of looking, we got this A, B, C here. We got a very slow impulse down, but I'm more bearish, thinking we may get like an A, B, C in here. Like I've been mentioning in a long time now, I'm getting the direction of the H4 now because the daily is too uncertain. There's no real clear direction on the daily. And this was the same on the H4. We got the 5 down in here. We lost the bullish divergence. So I was just looking for a correction in here, and we may get another one down here yet. On the M15, well, actually, I was on the H1, sorry. We did have this flat in here for the C up. So we have 1, 2, 3 up now with all that bearish divergence. So, I wouldn't be going to look to buy this. I'd you know, if we get a nice impulse down here, and then a correction, well, you could sell it to go and break the low. And I dare say that's what will happen because we have all this bearish divergence here. We got 3 up, so oops. EU, this is turning more complex. This is not too bad. Like we got this A, I'm looking at this as a B. We get a C up here, and then we get the A, B, C as the flat, like I've been showing for a long time now. I've actually put the count on here now, but if you go back through my videos, I've been looking at this for a long time. This structure here, this A, B, C, A, B, C, before we get the larger A, B, C. So they're the directions that I'm looking at. This was quite difficult because we had a very deep pullback in here on the lower time frames. But yeah, on the H4, you know, we've got 3 down on the H4. 1, 2, 3 down in here. There was this large flat in here on the lower time frames. It did go a lot further than I thought. I was just sort of looking for a 3 up, an A, B, C up, just to go and break that top and then fall over, you know, because all this does look rather corrective. But it's turned more motive now, so you'd be going down to the M15 and looking for another one up, just like we're looking for on AU. We got this flat in here. We got a WXY. Be waiting for that X2, and then you could look for that wave Z up at this stage. So really, you're waiting for a buy, waiting for this correction, a buy set up to buy. Other than that, for a sell, you really need to break this low in here, give you a larger correction, and then you could look for a sell. But that's the only way I'd be looking for a sell at this stage. And nothing's changed on this. I put this out in trading view. This one here, I put this idea out quite a while ago. Well, what was it, the 15th of April, and I'm looking for this C up. Nothing's changed. I'm looking for this C up. So if you follow me on trading view, you may have got an entry. I got an entry on this last week. So here I'm looking for an A, B, C up in here, and then I dare say we'll get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we may get 5 down or 3 down as a complex correction, and then we get the A, B, C. So longer term, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. H4, there is still a chance we get a 5th wave down in here now. We're still waiting for that time factor here, but this has really taken off. Like many of the others, it turned out to be a expanding flat. We sort of got like an A, B, C in here as your flat, and then we get a WXY. In here, I was just looking for, because we had this very sharp impulse down here, I was sort of just looking for an A, B, C in here, and then possibly an A, B, C during the week. It took off, you know, and this is the entry that I got, you know. I was looking at this flat. It's like many of the other major pairs. We got these flats on the M15. So I got into this trade around here somewhere on the lower time frames. So I'm definitely at break even. But we got a WXY. You wait for the X2, and I'll be looking to add. And I'm hoping that this is the low here, and we get that daily C up. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not convinced that we'll get that daily C up at this stage because of what I said on the H4. There is still a chance that we get another one down on the H4. But the start of the week, I'll be looking for a correction in here. If I get a buy set up, well, I'll add. UY, we're only looking for sells. on the daily. You know, we've got the 5 up. We've got all that bearish divergence. So like I've been saying for quite some time now, I'm only looking for sells. And I'm looking for a 50 fib retrace of this. So, you know, I'm looking for around a 50 fib retrace. So I'm looking for some sort of a correction in here, larger correction, and then possibly more upside. So on the H4, so H4, I've only been looking for sells. There was a sell in here on the lower time frame. We had an impulse down in here on the lower time frame. Nice impulse correction, and we're just looking for that. Now it's, again, I dare say we'll get a flat in here before we get more downside. So we may get a little bit of upside, and then if you get a sell set up, you could start to look for another sell. I dare say this sell is going to take a long time. Like I said, I'm looking for the 50 fib on the daily. So, you know, this could be very choppy coming down. You know, we don't know what sort of correction it's going to give. I'm just looking for a larger correction than these over here. So any sell setup you get, you definitely could look for a sell. It's the same as UY. This on the lower time frame, though, we still may get one up, but like I've been saying for a long time, I'm looking at all this as a B wave, and then we get an A, a B, and a C down in here as a flat before we get more upside. So if you've been following me for a while, I've been saying, you know, be careful with the buys. You know, it's only a matter of time before this falls over and gives us that C down. These are very similar to GY. You know, if you were trading this, you're getting in on this correction in here on the lower time frames, and you know you'd be at break even for this. Very similar structures as the GY. You know, on the lower time frame M15, I'll be looking for an A, B, C in here, a flat. Then if it gives me a sell setup, well, I'll look to sell it. And again, it's more scalping because we're scalping a correction. Well, you're selling into a larger correction, so it can be quite choppy. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Take half off and let the rest run, or however you do it. Um, just take a little bit of profit because it can be quite choppy. The CAD on the daily has been really difficult for a long time. Just been really going down to the lower time frames because we never got that Z up. We got that WXY X2. We started to get that Z up and never broke the ending point of wave Y. So, you know, we got this flat in here, the A, B, C. We're getting that C up now. And on the lower time frame, it's very choppy. This one never went. Last week, I was looking for that extended wave C in here, like this WXY. X2, we had the ball hidden here. It started to go and then just fell over. So it didn't actually give us a setup to take that wave Z up. Instead, it's giving us a lower low here now. We are getting bullish divergence in here on the H4. But yeah, I mean, you'd really be going down to the lower time frame and scalping this at this stage. You know, you got an impulse up here, you're getting a little flag in here. You could just look for a scalp, and then more than likely you get more downside. So if you are looking to buy this, it's really just a scalp. And if you're lucky, it does go up and break the top. But yeah, I'd just be looking for an A, B, C basically, and then possibly more downside. The Swissy on the daily, This is playing out really nice. We've got this nice impulse up here. So like I've been saying for ages, I'm waiting for that B wave, and then I'll be looking for that C up. Looks like we're starting this this B wave now, and we are starting this B wave. This is pretty simple stuff. You're just waiting for a correction in here. You got a nice impulse. You're waiting for a correction in here for at least a C down. More than likely, it'll turn motive. Give you a wave Y, an X2 and a Z down, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whichever way you look at it. Looking for a larger correction back to that 50 pip. And then, I'll be starting to look for buys again. But at this stage, you're waiting for this correction in here. If it looks corrective, sell. If it looks if you get a big, on the lower time frames, if you get a big impulse up in here and a bullish setup, well, you have to wait for 3 up before you can look for a sell. Ideally, all this looks very corrective for you, and then it's a lot easier to sell. EG on the daily. I really would like this to go and break this low, because this in here looks very corrective still. It looks very corrective for another one down. So ideally, we do get another one down, breaking the lows, and then we can start off fresh from a low to look for buys. At this stage, yes, buying this is very risky. There was a buy in here on one of the weekly outlooks a couple of weeks ago. There was a buy in here. It went further than I thought. We had this 3 down in here, and then we had this bullish setup on the weekly outlook, and I said, you can look for the buy. Just to go and break that top. Basically, it did go and break that top, and it went a fair way. We have a nice impulse down now, but we have a ball hidden here. So it's like many of the others on the M15. There was a little flat in here, and you really wanted to get in on that for the buy. If you've missed that, it becomes very risky. Because all of this on the higher time frames looks very corrective for more downside. So, but in saying that, we do have a ball hidden here. If you do get a bullish setup, you can look for it. Ideally, it goes and breaks that top for you. But as soon as that top's broken, I'd be, definitely taking half off, because this can come down and break that low. WTI on the daily. This one's fallen over. Pretty much the way I'm looking at it, and the way I've been looking at it for a very long time. I'm looking at that A, at the A, this is the B, and we get a C down in here before we get the larger A, B, C. So nothing's changed on this. I'm looking for a possible wave Z up. We got this like WXY. We're getting a correction in here. This is the time factor here, this arrow. So there is still a bit of a time factor. I can't definitely rule out another one up here for a wave Z before we get that C down, that A, B, C on the daily. But yeah, it's like many of the others. There was a sell set up in that on this, for the sell. But yeah, I'd be waiting for a bullish setup on this at this stage. The lower time frames will be starting to get bullish divergence, so I'd be waiting for a nice impulse up, and then more upside for that. If you go down to the M15, we're getting all that bullish divergence, so I'll be waiting for a nice impulse up, a bullish setup, and then I could look for a buy. Because we have all this bullish divergence here, I'm not looking for sells, at this stage. Gold, we're waiting for this time factor in here as well. Like I've mentioned, I'm looking for this WXY, X2, and then that Z up on the daily. So we've been waiting for this correction in here. It's taking a while, but all corrections do. Here we actually have 5 down. If I go down to the, well, on the H4, we do have a bull hidden in here. So, this can go up and break that top. But H1, it's still looking rather corrective. We had the 5 down in here. Look at those 5 down with the bullish divergence. We had a nice impulse up, but a very deep, and it's gone and broken the low. So this is more than likely just an A, B, C for more downside, and we may get another 5 down in here. But this, I dare say this is going to turn more complex in here because it's not a large enough correction. I'm looking for a correction because we have these 5 down in here. I'm looking for a correction larger than this over here, for possibly more downside, or else it's bullish. But because we're breaking the low here, I dare say it's going to be corrective. We're going to be drawn out here in a correction for quite some time before we get more downside. So if you are scalping, well, if you are trading gold, you're pretty much just scalping into a correction really until you finish the correction, and then you look for that sell. Silver's very similar, very similar to gold. Virtually identical. We got that WXY, looking for that X2 and then the Z up. Very similar to gold on the daily, and the H4. Well, the H4 is exactly the same. We got that bullish hidden divergence. On the H1, we got the 5 down. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, bullish divergence. But it's still very corrective here. We never got a nice impulse up after the low. We never got that nice impulse up and a bullish setup to buy that wave Z up. So I dare say we're going to get very corrective in here, and then another possible 5 down. Bitcoin, we're waiting for that time factor. We did get that time factor. It's virtually there now. We're waiting for this. If I just zoom it in a little bit, looking for this WXY, this X2, and get that set up. We got that time factor there now. So you may actually get a buy set up on this. You have to be careful. You really, most of the people in my group that already be on it, because like many of the other pairs, there was this bullish setup in here on the M15. But yeah, you have to be careful buying. You want to wait for a nice correction, because this can be an A, B, and a C up in here for a flat, and you get more downside. So again, you're going to have to be very careful, get a nice setup before you buy, because you are buying at the top of the market. You have a look at the higher time frames, and we're right at the top of the market still. So, but we do have those 3 down. Well, we got more down now. We're looking at that A, B, C. They come down again, broke the low. That's what I mean. You got to be careful now, because this can be a flat here, and we get more downside. So if you are trading this, keep that in mind. At this stage, it's a bear hidden. We've got a bear hidden here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, possible 4, and we get a 5th one down in here before it gives you that bullish setup. Ideally, this is what it gives you. Another one down in here, giving us the bullish divergence and then a bullish setup, and then we can look for a buy. That's the safest way to trade this. Other than that, if you're looking for a bullish setup in here, you got to get a really nice setup, because like I said, there's a bear hidden here. The bear hidden here. This can come down and break that low, so just keep that in mind if you are trading it. S&P 500, we're right at the top of the market. We've got 5 up in here, and I'm looking for that correction. I'm looking for a 50 fib correction of this, pretty much. So I'm just looking for a correction in here, and you could look for a sell. It's looking very corrective. It's starting to look better and better, this, you know, as time goes on, because we got an A, B, C in here, and then we got an A, B, C here. So this can be a complete correction. We get more downside. So again, if you're buying this, we already have, well, it's starting to form bearish divergence. I don't think, well, there is no sell set up on it at this stage, but yeah, be more interested in a sell because, you know, we've got the 5 up on the daily. But yeah, this one here, I think I mentioned last week, you know, we got a bull hidden in here. So it has gone and broken that top. So yeah, be careful if you're buying, because you are buying relatively high. AU 200, this one bounced off that 100 fib, very similar. We got 1, 2, 3 up, bounced off that 100 fib. We got a bounce off of it. I'm just looking for a correction, and we may get a larger flat in here for like an A, B, C in here on the high time frame. So I am looking for downside. Whether it's ready or not to get in, I mean, this is looking very corrective. We got an impulse down in here. This is looking very corrective. If we get a nice correction in here, definitely can look for at least an A, B, C, and more than likely it'll turn motive and give you 5 down. The FTSE's taken off. Yep, she's taken off. This here, I mean, very difficult. It's even gone past 100 fib. You know, I was looking for an A, a B, and a C here. It never went. Instead, we got all this in here, very corrective. So basically what we have here is a WXY. So you really got to wait for an X2 and then trade a Z up. That's pretty much, or you got to wait for a correction at this stage. And I'd be waiting for that daily correction, because the other majors are possible downside. So there was a few buys in this, you know, even here there's a little flag in here. I'd be leaving alone now. You're starting to get too much bearish divergence. M15, you're getting that bearish divergence. So what I'd be doing is looking for a sell. And what I mean by looking for a sell is, if it doesn't give me a sell, I'm not just going to jump into a sell here. You know, I've got to wait. We're getting that bearish divergence. I want that impulse down correction, and then I can look for a sell. I'm not even interested in looking for buys anymore. You know, we're getting all that bearish divergence, so it gets too risky. Lastly, the DAX. This has gone up here. You know, we've got a big impulse up in here on the daily as well. There was this ABC on the H4. We got that ABC. It didn't quite get to the 100 fib. This was looking heaps bullish here though, and we had that bull hidden. So I dare say this one here will go and break that top. We're getting a correction in here to do that. So you could scalp it just to go and break that top. It's sort of the correction at this stage is not really nice. It can turn quite complex. We got a nice impulse here, but we got an impulse. This only now is it starting to turn corrective in here. This is the choppy wave in here, so we're looking at an A, B, C as your flat, and then you get an A, B, C before you get the A, B, C to go and break the top, or may turn motive and give you 5 up. So this correction in here, it's looking like it's going to turn quite complex, just looking at the price action. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.